Hey everyone, Brandon from the A-Team, and the day is finally here. I'm super excited to introduce you to the Lightstorm 1200D Pro. Yes, it's finally here. The brightest fixture in the Lightstorm lineup, a 1200 watt daylight COB LED, the brightest Bowens mount LED on the market. It has a whole host of superlatives. But before we get into it and talk about this light and everything that it's capable of, 2 years ago at IBC, we introduced the Lightstorm 600D Pro. And we took a lot of user feedback from that and refined the product to what it is today. And then we took user feedback from the Lightstorm 600D Pro and refined it even further and brought in new features for the Lightstorm 1200D Pro to make it a fixture that is truly meant for professional lighting technicians and meant to be on professional film sets. So without further ado, let's roll the highlight reel. So let's get started. Chapter 1, the overview of the 1200D Pro. There's a whole lot of features that are listed on the screen right here, but just to rattle off a few, the Lightstorm 1200D Pro with its narrow hyperreflector is able to output 83,100 lux at a distance of 3 meters. It is a 1200 watt daylight COB, 5600 Kelvin, and of course has everything that we've integrated from the Lightstorm 600D Pro and 600X Pro into the 1200D Pro, including of course Lumen Radio CRMX, ArtNet, and SACN, and DC power options, making this a high output light that you can actually operate off of a small generator or off of DC batteries while still competing with sunlight and high intensity HMIs. But we'll get into that in a second because I want to again reiterate the Bowens mount compatibility of this product. As a Lightstorm product, the LS1200D Pro is compatible with the universal Bowens mount system, and this is the most prolific modifier system in the world. And not only is it compatible with the Bowens mount, it is the brightest Bowens mount fixture on the market with a whopping 1200 watts of pure LED COB power. Our engineers worked tirelessly on the design of this LED COB to minimize it to a minuscule 53 millimeters in size, so it would be able to fit inside the Bowens mount, making it compatible with our modifiers such as the Light Dome 2 and the Lantern 90, which are 90 centimeter soft light modifiers, and the Light Dome 150, which is a 150 centimeter or 5 foot circular softbox. So the 1200D Pro is still compatible with all of these soft light modifiers, not only from us, but also other brands like DOP Choice with their Rabbit Rounder series of snapback modifiers, like the Rabbit Rounder Snapback Medium, which is a large rectangular softbox, or the Rabbit Rounder Snapback Octa 5, which is also a 5 foot octabox with DOP Choice's precision design and variety of diffusion options. The Lightstorm 1200D Pro is also compatible with a wide array of Chimera lighting softboxes. All you need to do is use the Chimera Lighting Bowens mount speeder ring and you're good to go. Now, regarding the Bowens mount modifiers that come with the Lightstorm 1200D Pro, we have 3 redesigned reflectors made and optimized for the LS1200 series light. This includes a narrow beam angle reflector, which with the 1200D Pro has a beam angle of 15 degrees, a medium beam angle reflector, which with the 1200D Pro has a beam angle of 30 degrees, and a wide reflector, which has a beam angle of 55 degrees. All of these reflectors were designed and optimized for the Lightstorm 1200D Pro. So it begs the question, how bright is this light fixture? So let's talk about Chapter 3, the photometrics of the 1200D Pro. Without any modifiers, the 1200D Pro boasts an output of 6,380 lux at a distance of 3 meters. Now, once you put on the 55-degree reflector, you're able to get an output of 9,610 lux with a 55-degree beam angle. With a 30-degree medium beam angle reflector, the 1200D Pro is able to output 22,400 lux at a distance of 3 meters. And finally, once you put on the narrow 15-degree beam angle reflector, the 1200D Pro outputs a staggering 83,100 lux at a distance of 3 meters. Now, you might notice that this chart actually has to be scaled logarithmically on the y-axis, so everything actually fits inside. Now let's compare the 1200D Pro against a standard you might already be familiar with, like the Lightstorm 600D Pro. The Lightstorm 600D Pro at a distance of 3 meters with no modifiers can output 2,600 lux, meaning the 1200D Pro is 145% brighter than the 600D Pro bare bulb. That's over twice as bright. Then, with either the LS600 series hyperreflector or the F10 Fresnel at 45 degrees flood, the 600D Pro can output 8,500 lux with the hyperreflector or 11,440 lux with the F10 Fresnel in 45 degree flood. This means the 1200D Pro with its 30-degree beam angle medium reflector is 163.5% brighter than the 600D Pro with its own hyperreflector and 95.8% brighter than the 600D Pro with the F10 Fresnel. This means the 1200D Pro is over twice as bright as the 600D Pro with its reflector, or almost twice as bright as the 600D Pro with the F10 Fresnel. And when you compare the center illuminance of the 1200D Pro to the 600D Pro with the F10 Fresnel in full 15-degree spot, it's still no comparison. The 1200D Pro puts an 83,100 lux output at 3 meters compared to the 600D Pro's 29,300 lux. And while 29,300 lux is still insanely bright, the 1200D Pro is a staggering 183.6% brighter than the 600D with that combination, meaning it's almost 3 times as bright as the 600D Pro with the F10 Fresnel. Now we've compared it against our own internal standard in the LS600D Pro. How does the LS1200D Pro compare against industry standard lights that you may be used to using over the past few years? Compare it against the Moltenor LED, which is a 1600 watt daylight LED. At 5600 Kelvin and at its 10-degree spot, the Moltenor outputs 42,800 lux at a distance of 3 meters. This means the 1200D Pro with its 15-degree reflector is 94% brighter than the Moltenor in spot. An ARRI T5 is a 5,000 watt tungsten LED fixture, and in spot it's able to achieve a beam angle of 12.6 degrees, measuring up to 43,920 lux. The 1200D Pro is also 89% brighter than an ARRI T5. Now, when comparing the LS1200D Pro to a Joker 2 1600 by K5600, which, like its name implies, is a 1600 watt HMI fixture, with its medium lens, which is its tightest lens, the Joker 1600 outputs 70,000 lux at 3 meters, meaning the 1200D Pro is 18.7% brighter than the Joker 1600 at center illuminance. In comparing against an M18 with a similar wattage 1200 watt bulb at a spot of 15 degrees, the M18 outputs 75,000 lux, which means the 1200D is 10.8% brighter than a 1200 watt M18, but only by 30%, while the M18's 1800 watt bulb outputs 600 more watts or 50% more wattage than the LS1200D's 1200 watt LED chipset, meaning it stacks up very well against this industry standard fixture. And lastly, when comparing the 1200D2 with its narrow beam angle reflector to a Joker 2 1600 with the zoom beamer in spot mode, which is a 15-degree beam angle, has the same output as the 1200D Pro with the same beam angle. Moving on, let's look at the 1200D Pro with its different reflectors, such as its medium 30-degree beam angle reflector. The 1200D Pro with its medium beam angle reflector outputs 22,400 lux at 3 meters. Now, when compared to an M18 and its 1800 watt bulb with a medium flood angle of 39 degrees, the M18 is only 7.4% brighter with an output of 24,000 lux at 3 meters. Compared to an ARRI T5, which again is a 5,000 watt tungsten LED, the T5 outputs 21,200 lux at 3 meters, meaning the 1200D is actually 5.6% brighter than the ARRI T5 at the similar 30-degree beam angle. And an M18 with a similarly spec'd 1200 watt bulb outputs 18,000 lux at 3 meters, meaning the 1200D actually outputs 24% more light than this combination. Now, the 1200D Pro with its wide 55-degree beam angle reflector actually matches the output of an M18 quite nicely. An 1800 watt M18 at a flood angle of 62 degrees outputs 9,556 lux at 3 meters, which is basically the same as the 1200D Pro with its wide beam angle reflector. And an M18 with a 1200 watt bulb at full flood outputs only 7,200 lux at 3 meters, meaning the 1200D Pro at its widest beam angle is 33% brighter than that combination. So as a 1200 watt single source LED, the 1200D Pro in combination with its 3 different hyperreflectors stacks up very nicely against industry standard lights that you may already be used to using. Now let's quickly move on to the color science of the 1200D Pro. Like all other Aputure fixtures, the Lightstorm 1200D Pro has high CRI and TLCI scores of over 95 and a CQS score of 96 plus as well. The 1200D Pro also has an SSI or Spectral Similarity Index of 73 or above when measured against the D56 Illuminate standard. To us, the color rendition of a light source is as important, if not more important, than just getting intense output. So we always strive to deliver high color fidelity with all of our light fixtures. Now let's move on to the interface and controls of the 1200D Pro, which are very similar to that of our LS600D Pro. All in all, the user interface is fairly simple, with a primary control knob and adaptive brightness LCD, which displays the growing feature set of this light and the entire Lightstorm family. And like the 600D Pro, the 1200D Pro can be dimmed from 0 to 100% in 0.1% increments with minimal color shift, which would not be achievable with HMI fixtures. The 1200D Pro also features 8 built-in lighting effects like the 600D Pro, including paparazzi, fireworks, lightning, faulty bulb, TV, pulsing, strobe, and explosion. All of these effects can be accessed using the 1200D Pro's variety of control methods, including its onboard controls and Sidus Link, which can be found in virtually every single Aputure fixture. The 1200D Pro also has a wide variety of professional level connectivity options, including 5-pin XLR DMX512, which is an industry standard, as well as the Lumen Radio CRMX TMO 2 chip built into the fixture, meaning you don't require any extra hardware to get it up and running with your wireless CRMX setup. The 1200D Pro also features ArtNet and SACN control via its new EtherCon port, which is more robust and durable than a standard RJ45 Ethernet connector. As I mentioned, the 1200D Pro is also Sidus Mesh enabled, just like almost all other Aputure and Amaran lights, meaning everything from the Amaran 100D to the Aputure MC all the way up to the Aputure 1200D Pro can be integrated with Sidus Link technology, meaning each light not only talks to the app but also to each other to increase the strength and range of the wireless mesh network, allowing for a wireless network range of up to 400 meters. Now when it comes to DMX profiles, like the Nova P600C, the Lightstorm 1200D Pro features both 8-bit and 16-bit DMX profiles for lighting and effects control. The 1200D Pro also has the same DMX loss behaviors as the P600C, including blackout, fade to black, hold last settings, and hold 2 minutes and then fade out. And like was introduced in the Nova P600C, the 1200D Pro also has the ability to utilize lead follow mode. In lead follow mode, when multiple lights are connected via DMX or in a DMX chain, all the follower lights will sync up with the leader. This allows you to group multiple lights together without a DMX console or the need to pull out an app. And just like all other professional level Aputure fixtures, the 1200D Pro has 4 fan modes, like Smart Mode, which modulates the fan speed according to the ambient temperature with a maximum noise floor of 41 dBA at 1 meter. In High Fan Speed mode, the fans spin at their maximum RPM and also has a maximum noise floor of 41 dBA at 1 meter. This mode is most suitable for hot environments between 35 degrees Celsius and 45 degrees Celsius. Medium mode is our standard recommended fan speed and is suitable for environments under 35 degrees Celsius and has a maximum noise floor of 34 dBA at 1 meter. And in silent mode, the 1200D Pro deactivates all fans and limits the output to 100 watts for completely silent operation. Like the 600X Pro and Nova P600C, the 1200D Pro also features frequency selection with a 2 kHz adjustment range in 100 Hz increments. This mode is meant to help you tune out flickering and banding, which may occur at high speed or off speed frame rates. Now let's move on to power management for the 1200D Pro. The 1200D Pro, with its 1200 watt COB chipset, has a maximum power draw of 1440 watts. This means it can be operated not only off of household outlets, but also small generators like a Honda 2000 watt generator, which may not be suitable for higher wattage HMIs. The 1200D Pro also supports DC power with dual 48 volt 15 amp 3-pin XLR DC inputs, which are suitable for battery power stations and block batteries. Because it utilizes 2 DC inputs, when using battery power, it can be run at half power or full power depending on how many inputs you're using. With one 48 volt 15 amp input, the 1200D Pro can output 600 watts with a max power draw of 720 watts, which is basically the same as a 600D Pro. And with two 48 volt 15 amp inputs, the 1200D Pro can output its full power. Lastly, let's talk about the design and build of the 1200D Pro, starting from the lamp head. The 1200D Pro features a new Bowens mount release mechanism with a release button at the top of the lamp head, as well as a robust Bowens mount and of course 1200 watt chipset. In the lamp head, you'll also find a curved disc brake locking yoke, just like with the 600D Pro and 600X Pro, 2 waterproof fans inside the lamp head, and of course a connector for weatherproof head cables. The 1200D Pro also utilizes a full-size junior pin due to its weight class. The 1200D Pro also comes with a completely redesigned control box while maintaining a lot of familiar features, including the weatherproof head cable connector, easy access menu buttons, intensity control knob, adaptive brightness display, and of course, lightning clamps. Now there's not only one, but two lightning clamps, depending on which orientation you want to mount it in. The new connector placement of the 1200D Pro also allows it to be stood up or rested on the ground. But how does the size of the 1200D Pro compare against other industry standard fixtures? The Mole 1600 watt tenor is the biggest fixture on this list with a total volume of over 18,000 cubic inches. The Arri M18 and Arri T5 are fairly similar with 6,100 cubic inches and 7,200 cubic inches respectively. Meanwhile, the 1200D Pro lamp head by itself comes in at 3,600 cubic inches. Now all these numbers may seem very large because they're in the thousands of cubic inches, but the big takeaway is that the LS1200D Pro is about half the volume of an Arri M18 or Arri T5 and 1/5 the volume of a Mole 1600 watt tenor. And not only is it smaller in size, but it's lighter too. A Mole 1600 watt tenor has a weight of 31.75 kilograms. That's 70 pounds. Whereas an M18 lamp head or an Arri T5 lamp head are both very similar at 11.5 kilograms or 25 and 26 pounds. Meanwhile, the Lightstorm 1200D Pro weighs in just under 9 kilograms or just under 20 pounds, making it incredibly lightweight compared to these other fixtures. And unlike these other fixtures, the Lightstorm 1200D Pro is also built to be weather resistant, meaning just like the 600D Pro and 600X Pro, it has dust and water resistant capabilities built into the light. And I've seen the LS600D Pro in a variety of inclement weather conditions, including rain, sleet, snow, and even a hurricane. The Lightstorm 1200D Pro is a best-in-class light fixture. Not only does it boast the brightest output for any Bowens mount light and compatibility with a wide variety of existing Bowens mount soft light accessories, its weather resistance is designed with professionals in mind. Its size and weight make it manageable for any size crew, and its connectivity options are accessible in all levels of production, from Sidus Link to Lumen Radio CRMX. And as an LED, it features minimal color shift dimmability and levels of control not capable with HMIs. The 1200D Pro is the new flagship Lightstorm LED, and I'm so excited to be able to introduce this to everyone. We've come so far in being able to take our LEDs into the high-end filmmaking production space, not only competing with HMIs and tungsten lights in terms of output, but also on features and the abilities of LEDs and their innovative capabilities. And what I can say is, there's definitely a lot more to come, and the Lightstorm product line does not end here. If you'd like to be notified about the Lightstorm 1200D Pro and its release, please join our newsletter on the Aputure website or contact your local dealer. Pricing and availability are not yet available for the 1200D Pro, and we estimate delivery to be sometime in Q1 of 2022. Thank you for joining us for the introduction of the Lightstorm 1200D Pro, and there'll be more product announcements coming soon. See ya!